show. When he drank a lot, he would fight a lot. He might punch you in your nose. It's the Eric Miranda Show. There are people who would tell you he is crazy, but if you listen closely, he's unbelievable. He used to drink a lot, now he talks a lot. He'll keep you on your toes. It's the Eric Miranda Show.
Yo. So it turns out my, good evening, everyone. It turns out my audio is not hooked up correctly. Hang on, yo. Hang on, all yos. So this is, this has me on. Yo, how's that? I think that's better, right? Yeah, it had me on the speaker. It had me on the who's up here? Who's making comments already? Yo, what's up? Tom Galvin. We got fucking Willie Houlihan. Tom Galvin. So guys, so it's the Eric Miranda Show. It is the Eric Miranda Show, and for whatever that's worth, look, I'm actually glad the two first people who said what they said, commented, came on, because one of them is a news junkie, and he's I think he's kind of a conservative guy. You don't mind me saying that, right, Tom? Maybe a Trump guy, I'm assuming, but based on his guys, I haven't watched the news. I think since I can actually get the date, but whatever. I've been talking about cults lately, right? Yeah, you can't imagine who I mean exactly, Tom. So I haven't watched the news in a couple of weeks. And what I learned about not watching the news, and I've done this before, but I walked into my mother-in-law's living room and she had the news on. She wasn't even watching, it was just on. Now, I've never been a news watcher, I'm a news reader. And I'm going to tell y'all something, and I mean this. When I heard this woman talking about the DNC, when I walked into the and I'm just going to reiterate, this is not about because it was the DNC, it doesn't matter. When I heard this woman talking about Kamala Harris and the DNC, it sounded like a sales pitch. It literally sounded like a used car salesman saying, let me tell you what I'm going to do. Look at this baby, low miles, kick, and the door falls off. It was like a sales pitch. So we've been talking about cult and cult language. I've talked about that book by Amanda Montell called Cultish. Now, by the way, my new studio, let me ask you all a question. I want some opinions here. You see where that light is next to the dinosaur? That's kind of the setup in the other place, but you can see there's a lighter gray panel. Is that distracting or is it chill? I'm asking because I'm vain. So even if it's not my face, it's got to be my studio, right? Got a good depth of field. You can see purple dinosaur. So check it out. So Amanda Montell, thanks, Tom. Amanda Montell speaks, in this whole book, it's about language and how we're attached to cults and ideas through language, right? And then she uses this term that she calls thought-terminating cliches. And thought-terminating cliche, when I heard that expression, my first idea of a thought-terminating cliche was like, hey, what happened, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. So that was my version of it. Like, you call somebody a conspiracy theorist and more than half the population, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Well, conspire to do what? Conspiracy is not a bad word. They turned it into a bad word. Conspiracy theorist, conspiracy theory. And so that's language. It's a thought-terminating cliche. Let's stop people from thinking. So let's use our cult language, right? And then, and then on the other side of things, I hear the same thing like, what's up, Richie Breimer? I hear the same exact kind of crap from people like, oh, that, like whatever you are. And let me tell you something. I'm just going to say this right now. My dad used to tell me that liberals thought they were smarter than other people. And I kind of found it to be true. I'm starting to think I'm smarter than other people. You're never going to hear me say that again. I actually regret that I even fucking said it, but I am so tired. Okay, Donald Trump created the fucking vaccine. I didn't get the vaccine. He suggested I do. He claims he did. So if he's this white knight for the conservatives and the libertarians and like my body, wait, wasn't that a leftist thing? My body, my choice. See, everybody's fucking confused. Now, my question is this. Never mind. I don't want to get into left-right politics because I'm telling you right now, I am not left or right. If liberals knew what I consider being liberal for myself, they may think, actually, I'm more liberal than a lot of liberals. It's the same thing with religion, right? With religion, I tell people I'm a Christian. If Christians knew how I view Christianity and my being a Christian, you guys would burn me at the stake. Or as this 17-year-old kid once said on a truck I was working on years ago, he's like, oh, they burned him to a stake. I was like, wow, that's really good. My point is, I'm not a version of anything because, yeah, listen, somebody just said their job forced them to take the jab. I'm not condemning. And look, there were consequences for a lot of people. There may have been consequences. I'm not getting into that. I made my choice, but I thought Donald Trump, and then of course, after him, the Biden administration, it was fucking scary for me. Like all of a sudden there's a disease that didn't come from a fucking lab in Wuhan until it did. And you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. So they lie to you. My son was talking about how many, he's like, Dad, did you know 228 stars die a second or something like that? I'm like, how the fuck do you know? You're 11. He said, because the scientists are looking for a plane that left fucking Thailand in 2014. The FBI doesn't know what happened to a fucking guy in a hotel in Vegas. They can't find the cocaine. Like what I'm saying is, look, Julius Caesar is known as the greatest general in history, bar maybe Alexander or Hannibal Barker, right? Carthage. He was also a great writer who wrote his own exploits. So the Gallic Wars, which are about Julius Caesar conquering Gaul, modern day France, were written by Julius Caesar, right? That's why they call it his story. So if they can lie throughout history because they're writing the story, and now every idiot in America is looking at their device, me included, all effing day. Do we realize what's going on now, folks? We're absolutely positively. So if language is house, right? So check it out. I'm Eric. I'm from Island Park, New York. What the fuck is Island Park? I'm actually from Barnum Island. And then, by the way, how many people from Barnum Island think it was named after P.T. Barnum because he used to keep his elephants there? It was like the widow of some clothing magnate named Barnum. There was no elephants. P.T. Barnum, and that myth, by the way, is old. It's like over 100 years old. So what I'm saying now, it's true the elephants helped build the boardwalk, maybe in Long Beach, definitely in Coney Island. My point is, we don't know what's happening in real time, yet we think we know what happens in history. And then we look at history and we find out that we were lied to the whole time. Well, when did the lie start? In other words, Julius Caesar started telling the story of, and I'm not saying that some of it's not true. Guy was a great, okay, now somebody just said, and I'm not going to say who this is. Somebody just said, I believe he trusted the fucking experts. Well, then he's not a fucking leader because leaders lead. Again, this is not about whether fucking Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who's got a bigger dick. I don't care. The point that I'm making is Julius Caesar's story of the Gallic Wars started when Julius Caesar was not, he was just a general, actually. He was the governor of Gaul. And then he came back, crossed the Rubicon, and, and then declared himself dictator for life, and then was killed by, Brutus and Cassius and that whole crew. And a civil war ensued. And before you know it, Augustus, right? But what I'm saying is the lie that, and again, it's not all false, but we look through history, the lies they tell us about history, when people say history is written by the winner, yeah, right then. So they lie to their own people's faces, the people buy it, and then we buy it throughout history. I want somebody to tell me because somebody said on the comments to this show, well, I got rid of my New York Times subscription and da 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 da. But I do watch, fucking Global Network. Like everybody's got some fucking news source, and all they are a more hardcore angle. So if you're a fucking Fox News guy and I'm tired of Fox News, then you go to fucking Alex Jones or fucking Judas Iscariot, fucking assassin press. What the fuck are we doing now? And listen, and the person who I made the comment about who thinks Donald Trump got bad advice, it may be true. That's not my point. It's a little bit my point. But my real point is, who do you trust? Just like saying, right, trust the science, right? Well, motherfucker, I have a friend who won't come on because he's a big, strong, tough guy who does martial arts, but he actually has lady parts in his pants. His name is Dan. I'm not going to say his last name because he talks about his fucking flat earth shit. And I just want one motherfucker to not to fucking type in the fucking comments. I want somebody to come on this show and tell me, and I'm not going to ridicule them. I want them to explain to me why, when I used to go 80 miles offshore in my dad's boat, the Barnacle Bill, anybody from Island Park from back in the day knows my dad's boat. They know my dad, right? Somebody just said, trust Eric. I'm putting that up. Trust Eric Miranda. Because Eric Miranda will at least tell you, don't trust me because I don't know shit. Now, I used to come in on my dad's boat, and the World Trade Center would be like this at a certain point. Wait, where the fuck is it? Maybe the earth is fucking flat. There it is. Right? And, right? And then we'd get a little closer. It would be like that. And we get a little closer. It'd be like that. And we'll get a little closer. So when we're 80 miles out, we can see, or it's 40 miles out, whatever, we can see the top of it. So it's not like it's out of visual range, and it gets taller and taller. Now, I have friends who I respect who have hit me with some of these theories. My issue is this: when you have a conspiracy theory and you have to add another conspiracy theory to it in order to make it true, it's like you're double conspiracying me. Now, that doesn't mean that all conspiracy theories are bad. I do not believe the official narrative on September 11th. I do not believe there's a lone gunman in the Kennedy assassination. And I think Fidel Castro was treated for flactal ana because he was having sex with men. Okay, whatever. My point is this. When somebody tells you a story and you believe it because you have a gut instinct, fine. When somebody tells you I have a story and they back it up with good facts, fine. But we now have a country of people, like, I'm going to put it this way, motherfuckers. If I walk into a room, somebody said to me the other day, who do you think so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so are voting for? They're in the fucking music industry. And he's right. They're a bunch of fucking half a fags. Excuse me, if you're gay, you know what I mean. When I was a kid, being a fag meant you were a Met fan and not a Yankee fan. Sorry. But you know what I'm saying, right? Oh, God, I'm going to get canceled. I wish if I got canceled, I'd have more viewers, right? So I knew, right? And then I said to him, right, like if you had to guess who has more gluten allergies, Bernie Bros or MAGA, right? We know the answer. Because we now have a thing where if something is, we're so afraid to challenge our own belief systems, especially if we're a bunch of little fucking sissies in the music industry and we're going, oh, Donald Trump's dangerous. Really? George fucking Bush killed tens of thousands of people in a fucking illegal war, and Donald Trump's the most dangerous president we've ever had? Give me a fucking break. I'm not sticking up for Donald Trump. Just look at the facts. I drank espresso and it's late. Guys, can I do like the radio guy thing? It's 9:15 p.m. in New York City, and the temperature is currently 64 degrees. So my point is this. They're all fucking lying to you, and you believe things according to what you want to believe. You know, it's kind of like when somebody finds out one of their parents are gay, right? It's got to be pretty fucking rough. Hundreds of thousands. Somebody just said hundreds. Yeah, George Bush is a murderer. George Bush is a fucking murderer. And then we're told that Donald Trump is the most dangerous president we've ever had. I would say it's Andrew Jackson if you're Native American. You know, I'd say it's fucking Woodrow Wilson if you're against globalism. You know, but the point I'm making is simply we're trying to back the facts into our ideology instead of looking at the facts. And I guess the thing I want somebody now. I heard about the tragedy in Georgia. And I also know without looking, I'm going to look, actually. I'm going to ask you guys a question. How many people were killed this month in Chicago? All right, so 6 killed by gunfire in Chicago over Labor Day weekend, another 4 dead in CTA Blue Line. Okay, now that's not the news. That's just a fucking statistic that came up. All right. Now, yeah, right. Who's the somebody said Bill Clinton if you're an intern. Well, it depends on what is. So 4 people were killed. And by the way, I didn't watch the news, anyone. I know what happened in Georgia because every one of you motherfuckers either posted on Instagram, Xtagram, Faceagram, not all of you, but everybody told me what happened, and it's fucking tragic. I'm upset, and somebody just hung up. You don't want to hear the fucking truth? Because you can't sensationalize faceless black kids in the fucking ghetto, so that doesn't sell news. It's fucking, I have 2 kids in school, one of them in high school. It's fucking terrible what happened. But my point is, doesn't do anything for you. The same amount of people died in the ghettos of Chicago this weekend as in that tragic shooting in Georgia. And nobody gives a fuck in the news media because it doesn't sell news. There's enough. I posted this in the thing. There's enough. I don't care if I have people telling me I'm signing off. I don't care. I'm not here for you. I'm here for some of you. I love you all. I even love the morons who are jumping off. But this is what I mean. My version of the truth isn't lining up with your version of the truth, so you don't want to hear it. And one of the persons who hung up, actually, we agree, but this person doesn't want to hear my version of this right now. Nothing changes by me watching the news. If we have a civil war, I'm sure my brother Adam's going to call me, tell me where my guns are, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I didn't want to indict my brother Adam. My point is, I'm going to say my friend Chris Flugemacher who's like the most fucking, dude, you are the most fucking liberal prepper I've ever fucking met in my life. God damn. He's confused like me. So, the news isn't solving any of your problems. So somebody said, I just don't want to be one of those idiots who doesn't know what's going on in Europe. Oh, so you'd rather be an idiot who doesn't know what's going on here? And you didn't learn what's going on in fucking Europe. I have friends who were in Israel on was it October 7th? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be insensitive. I don't remember the date. That fucking tragedy. They lost friends. and they're like, Benjamin Netanyahu is a fucking liar. So they're like, they know that something went down, and they still don't believe what it is. But you're going to find out from Global Net fucking, My Sharona fucking news. Oh, that'd be a cool fucking. A terrorist attack. Terrorist my buildings. That'd be fucking awesome. Let's just have My Sharona news. I think I look like a fucking insane person just now. My face is over. Oh, I don't have my AC on down here. I'm fucking dying. So you get my problem. I mean, my problem. You get my drift. My drift here is that I don't learn anything from the news except how to argue. I saw a great meme the other day. And it said, "What offends you now?" And the woman said, "I don't know. They haven't told me yet." Do you understand? Like, I can tell when people say, "Did you know the fucking, Rush Limbaugh?" It's like, oh my God, I read that this morning. I know. Like, people come to you like they have an original thought in their fucking head. I'm cursing a lot tonight. And they're just repeating things. Guys, I want to tell you something. I know, look, if I'm going to believe a conspiracy theory, Anderson Cooper, he's from one of the big designs. His mom was Gloria. Who was it? She's a big designer, right? The guy's a prop. He's a handsome gay man with white fucking hair, even though he's like 15. Like, he's a prop. I don't mind him. I actually like Anderson Cooper because one day he said something. He was telling a story and he busted up laughing and he couldn't recompose himself. It was amazing. It was great television, great entertainment, which it was supposed to be. But Venezuela has been on precipice of total collapse, but the news never talks about it. We can get into all of that, right? I'm going to put this up, Bill, because I don't know how to read, so I'm just going to put that up. Right. But my point is this. Even when they print the news, even when they talk about the news, it's like, what do you fucking believe? Because there's an agenda at this point. We have two sides of the same coin in Washington, and I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. I put this in a post. We have enough food. We pay farmers not to grow food. We pay farmers not to grow corn to stabilize the price of corn. Well, why the fuck don't we just send that corn to people who are starving, take it off the market so the price doesn't collapse, and feed people while we're at it? There's a solution here, right? But that solution doesn't serve the aims of the people in power. War. I mean, didn't Eisenhower warn us about this? Right? Military industrial didn't we learn about this 50, 75, 80 years ago? Didn't he warn us? We're okay, listen, you fucking liberals, all right? And I'll get to you fucking conservatives in a minute who want to fucking supply arms to fucking Israel. It's illegal, according to our newly minted constitution back in the day, to fucking the French saved our ass in the American Revolution. And then we didn't save their ass in the French Revolution because, why? Because our newly minted constitution said we weren't allowed to. Yet we send billions of dollars to the Ukraine, billions of dollars to Israel. Somebody just said food, we waste food. We pay farmers not to grow corn, but we don't ship it to starving people in other countries or this country. People think reparations is a joke, right? Now, there are issues with the economics of reparations, and I could argue my family came here long after slavery. Italian. I mean, I'm Italian and Irish, by the way. I tell people I'm part Irish, my feet, because they stink. Just kidding. Sorry, Sheila. My point is, Oh man, I just lost people because I made that joke. My point is simply this: we if you look at the economics of reparations, giving money, Mansu, the African leader, was the richest man who ever lived, and he used to go and he actually fucked up people's economy because he would just go through a town or a county or whatever, or a province, and just give everybody money, and then the value of the money would go down. But you're telling me that we can't afford to pay reparations? Listen, if we pay reparations, and as according to Cat Williams, I can say the N-word. Ha ha. Kidding. I'd say it if I wanted to. I just don't want to. What do you think of that? So, reparations is ridiculous. Universal income is ridiculous, but we can give billions of dollars away to go to war. So the Ukrainian people the Ukrainian people aren't worth it. The fucking military arms manufacturers are worth it, and they lobby in Washington, and they own the fucking pharmaceutical industry or vice versa. They're all in it together, and they keep themselves fat and cozy at our expense. Nobody gives a fuck about, it's because what happens if the fucking Russians win and then we have a fucking NATO country to... You don't even know what that fucking means, any of you. How's fucking Sheila? What did we used to call her on the show? Wife. After the whole thing in Benghazi, all these fucking right wingers, Benghazi. And she started asking people where Benghazi was, and nobody fucking knew. Think about that. So, again, this isn't to say that the liberals are smarter than the conservatives or vice versa. You're all fucking stupid or you're all smart because you're all either partially right and partially wrong or you're all fucking wrong. Because nobody's right all the time, especially when facts don't matter. And then somebody said, trust the science. Well, I've been trying to get somebody to come on here and talk to me about the flat earth theory, right? Trust the science, round earth. Yet they almost put Galileo Galilei to death for saying the earth was round. So which science? Oh, we learned. We don't know shit because it keeps changing. You guys remember when it was when I was in 4th grade, I'll never forget this. They told me the Ice Age was coming. London's calling. They told me the Ice Age was coming. And then they were like, oh shit, it's not actually getting colder. What are we going to do? We're going to call it global. So they flipped the script to global warming. And then they're like, yeah, the ice-breaking ship that went to Alaska to document the melting ice couldn't get through because there was more ice than they expected. Oh, we better call it climate change. Now, what we should talk about is, hey, look how fucking filthy New York City is from all the car exhaust on the Cross Bronx Expressway. Like, you know that thing? It's where 87 and 95, it all converges right off the GW Bridge. And it's this, it looks like the Jetsons. It's this fucking amazing overpasses, right? And it's beautiful. It's like a work of art, except it's fucking dirty. So if more people, I'm not getting a fucking electric car. What if your electric car runs out of fucking battery? What if your gas car runs out of gas? I was a fucking broke ass fucking teenager. My Chevy Nova had gotten stuck on the Cross Island Parkway, right over by Creedmoor. Like, you think a fucking gas-powered car never fucking ran out of gas? Jesus. Oh, how are they going to make electric trucks? You think you're going to be able to haul all that weight? Well, if they can make a car go 240 miles an hour on a battery, and then you look at a flatbed and all those wheels and all the batteries, I'm sure it's going to be just fine. We're so fucking stupid. So if you watch Fox News, you're more likely to tell me how shitty electric cars are. But now that Elon Musk endorsed Donald Trump or whatever he's doing, because I don't watch the news, maybe suddenly you like electric cars are good now because my mouthpiece is getting support from fucking Elon Musk. Yay! Right? And then all you fucking conservatives, we didn't go to the fucking moon, and you love Elon Musk, and you may accept that electric cars may be viable someday. And this guy's got you convinced he's going to fucking Mars. I hate the shirt I'm wearing right now. So let's get back to the cult. You guys are in a cult. I'm in a cult with you. Just so you know I sound a little self-righteous tonight, but I'm going to tell you something about my self-righteousness. I actually know that I don't fucking know shit, but I have the balls, if you will. Actually, I only have one ball, but it's this fucking big. I have to think about that one. So if you're in my cult, and I mean, Tom Cruise is in a fucking cult. He's a Scientologist. Whatever they do to get a guy as fucking talented, rich, and as smart as him to stay in a cult, he's got to be getting some kind of graft, right? But the language they use, they do things like these. There's this one fucking yoga guru, and somebody say, that was unkind what you said to sister so and so, and he said, "Oh, you have a problem with that? You may want to sit with that," right? So it's a thought terminating cliche. And in my world, you're a conspiracy theorist. In my world, that fucking theory was debunked. Yeah, debunked by the official fucking newspaper of the guy who needs it debunked because he's the one who lied. So language is how I'm Eric from Island Park. You're Chris from fucking West Hempstead. You're Tom from New York City. We drew lines. Look at Nebraska. It's like a fucking square. God didn't make squares in the Midwest. We took land. Remember, Mexico used to go to fucking Northern California until we took it and renamed it California. So when you say you're from California, well, you may be from Mexico. There's no such thing as any of this. We use language to attach meaning to things and then identify things. And now we're so afraid to learn something we didn't believe that will change the facts in front of our own eyes to hold on to an idea. Karl Marx said, religion is the opiate of the masses. I would argue it's nostalgia. That's why our generation, you guys see these memes on Facebook? Our generation, we drove the I love this one. We listened to the best music. We had the fucking coolest clothes. And we had fucking the best cars in the world. It's like, dude, your Chevy fucking Nova is going to get off the line with a fucking Tesla. It's going to go 0 to 60 in 2.1 seconds. And your fucking gears are still going to be wiggling. But if you were born in 1965 like me, man, you may buy that myth because, guys, I listen to Queen. I mean, I have 3 Brian May guitars. I currently have 4 because one of my luthiers loaned me one that he built, and it's pretty amazing. I have 4 Brian May guitars. Now, I happen to love Juice WRLD and Taylor Swift. I like some Taylor Swift. She's annoying the shit out of me. And by the way, how big is her penis that Travis Kelce is getting banged by her? Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I had that backward. Well, I mean, he's a vax dude and definitely likes a little prick, I guess. But whatever. The, I'm just like, look, nostalgia, language, we attach. Do you guys realize that the Democrats are now like the pro-war party? I mean, I know the conservatives with Israel, but like this fucking, I remember the day that shit happened with Putin, and all of a sudden people, and everybody's got, I love your Ukrainian flags on your Facebook, everybody. Yeah, you're fucking, man, that's fighting the good. Hey, I put a fucking banner in my window, said Black Lives Matter. I'm not a fucking racist. You're a fucking signaling bitch is what you are. Come on, guys. Do you know, I swear to God, one day I was going to hold the door for a black kid, a young black kid. And I almost didn't do it because I'm like, is he going to think I'm fucking signaling? Like, oh, George Floyd, I like you now. I'm always fucking polite to people. I don't care if you're fucking blue, unless you're the Blue Man Group. The show annoyed me. I worked there. Anyway, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I was actually worried. I didn't want to be nice to this kid because I didn't want people to think, what is he, a fucking Karen? Like he's acting like he likes that kid. I did like the kid. Fucking like, what the fuck? So now the liberals are the war party. The fucking Trump people are actually the big tent party right now. It's like it flipped, but if you're a fucking boomer and you were at Kent State watching fucking Nixon's administration kill people, you fucking hate Nixon, you hate the Republicans. It doesn't matter if it flips. I mean, people forget. I remember one time, I swear to God, I told a woman, she said, Republicans have been racist since the day they started. I said, well, Abe Lincoln was the first Republican president. She's like, he was not. And she screamed in my face. I'm like, we can look it up on the internet if you want. You can't believe everything you read on the internet. I was like, oh no. Ah! Like, what the fuck? Like, she refused to believe it. So it doesn't matter whether Republicans are emancipating slaves or they're fucking being racist. Or, by the way, in the 60s, I think Kennedy's Civil Rights Act of 1964 and Executive Order 11236 and 11375 were supported by 82% of Republicans and 65% of blue dog racist fucking Democrats in the South. Like, it keeps switching. And they can do whatever the fuck you want because I'm a fucking Republican. I'm a Democrat. Well, I'm a fucking Yankees fan. But if they were starving people in the ghetto, I wouldn't be a Yankees fan anymore. You see what I mean? Like, these are icons. By the way, I used to work at WVOX in 1440 AM. It was at 1440. Anyway, I was the morning show host. Good morning. You're listening to Eric Miranda on WVOX here in New Rochelle. I'm your host, Eric Miranda. Anyway, so, and anytime something would happen, I would want to quote from the newspaper, right? From the DNC, the RNC, the state Republican Party, the state Democratic Party. And I would call, remember 411? Holy shit. I bet there are people on here who don't know what 411 was. Maybe. I'm an older crowd. Anyway, I would dial 411 and they'd say, what listing, please? And I'd say, in government listings, the New York State Democratic Party. Yes, hold on one moment. So that's business listings. And every fucking time I would ask for the Republican or Democratic Party in government listings. They're not part of the government. They're corporations. They're listed in business listings. Motherfucker. Like, what is wrong with me? Every time government listings, the Republican Party, the Democratic Party are not a part of our government. They are corporations. And like all corporations, they want market share and they're willing to say and do whatever they have to get market share. And unfortunately, they have infiltrated the news media. And again, I'm not saying that everything that Fox or CNN or says is wrong, but they have an agenda. Like, if you talk about everything going on in the world, somebody's got to be right some of the time, right? But when you think about what has happened, we have enough food on this planet. We have enough food in the United States for everybody to go to bed with food in their belly. We have enough money. We send billions of dollars to the Ukraine and Israel. And then people say, oh, my health insurance, you can't have socialized fucking Really? Maybe if you're going to be cheap and you're not going to get a good doctor because it's not paying out, we should pay more. Every dollar that went to the Ukraine could go into our healthcare system. Oh, see, I see people. By the way, I know who signs off and when, you motherfuckers. I know the person who they don't want to hear it. We have enough money in this country. We have enough natural resources and we waste enough money on war that every American can have not just health care, but quality health care. But they would have to put those billions in. So if a doctor takes your Medicaid card or your fucking, Obamacare or your Health First or whatever it is, and you would, if they look, a doctor shouldn't go to medical school. And by the way, price of college, ridiculous. It's a business. It's not medical school anymore. It's a business. But if I'm a doctor and I spend $1 million or $750,000 going to school, and then I fix your leg and I make $14, take the money from the fucking Ukrainians that we're giving and put it into the healthcare system, put it into food, put it into schools. I mean, somebody said something. Oh, somebody was eating sun chips. They're like, oh, sun chips are healthy. Well, who the fuck told you that? Well, they're healthier than potato chips. I don't know, maybe. She said, look, this big bag is only 140 calories. I said, per serving, how many servings? 6. Why aren't we teaching people that in school? Because that poor fucking kid, if he doesn't get it together, is going to have diabetes. And that's going to cost either his personal health care or the government health care money. And then when he gets his fucking leg chopped off because he thinks a Snickers bar is a protein, whatever. We don't educate people about food. We don't educate them about money. And we're creating burdens. I saw a woman in one of the electronic wheelchairs. And again, if somebody is watching right now who's in one of the electric wheelchairs, this isn't about you. There are people who need welfare. There are people who need Medicaid. There are people, a lot of people. There's no indignity in getting help when you need it. But when you, like this woman is like, I'm talking to her and she's falling apart like an old fucking car on the highway. Her muffler's falling out, her hips dysplasia, her sciatica, her fucking chicken flandon Maloney, or Mickey-the-Macknack fracky, whatever the fuck was going. And by the way, why she knows the names of more diseases than a doctor. It's like, of course you're sick because you study being sick. But then it's like, honey, you're 380 pounds and you're telling me that your knee hurts because you have bad knees, not because I'm 350 pounds. Guys, listen, you all know, man, I'm fit as a fuck right now. I'm not always fit. I spent years smoking cigarettes. I spent plenty of time overweight. I'm not better than anyone. As a matter of fact, I work so hard at staying fit that I'm having a nervous breakdown half the time. I don't get a moment's peace. If I don't work out, I flip out. I'm working as a real estate agent now, doing music, doing this podcast, doing a fucking food show that I can't get fucking launched because I'm too busy. And then I freak out. Oh my God. So now I think I want to become a personal trainer so I can work out while I'm working. I'm going nuts. So my fitness compared to this woman I'm not better than her. I don't know what this has to do with the news. Oh, this is what it has to do with the news. And she's like, and my insurance and da-da-da. And the doctor said, and that doctor must have put something in my hip wrong because my hip still hurts. My fucking vagina fell off and I duct taped it to my leg. And it's like, lady, you're too heavy for the frame you have. Let's start with the truth and work from there. And then people say, oh, I'm going to have a lot of friends with eating disorders. Oh, Eric, you're going to offend people. I was getting pissed off at my son for his eating habits. And somebody yelled at me, you're going to give him an eating disorder. I said, wait a minute. My son just ate 3,000 calories of fucking carbs and sugar. And I'm going to give him the eating disorder by pointing out what he ate? If so, so be it, because I'm sure that's kind of a thing. But don't tell me the part about eating 4,000 calories of sugar in a sitting. He didn't really do it. But my point is, you have an eating disorder if you're overeating, and then somebody says, hey, you should cut down on your eating. You're going to give him an eating disorder. It's like, well, what about the one he started with, you fucking dolt? I hate these fucking headphones. I don't even know why I have them on. Because I'm like one of those NPR guys who wanted to hear my own voice. You ever notice that? The NPR guys, they're not talking to you, they're talking to themselves. What did Bill Houlihan put any Democrat or Republican in a big energy get them out into the third world shithole where life is cheap and death is free? Make them live there in the gun. Yeah, listen, I know your story, Bill, and I get it. Yeah, look, but see, the thing is, people are like, oh, we're not trying to solve problems. Credit card companies, they hate. I actually have a little bit of credit card debt now for the first time in a long time. And I'm going to carry that debt because if I go to purchase a home right now, my fucking credit score is like just over 700 because I don't use credit. So I actually have to build credit up. So if you pay your bills on time, they fucking hate you. And then I actually heard a thing on one of these documentaries that Obama did something that actually saved Americans like $14 billion in interest. And I was like, oh, that sounds like he actually did so. Like, I actually think whatever he did worked and helped. But that's so rare for a cynical prick like me to think. You know what I mean? So the news. So when I watch the news, and I get upset if people on the news disagree with what I already decided is. They're fucking lying. So if you're a Kamala gal, right? Everybody hates that woman, but they're pretending they don't because we know she ran in the primary against Joe Biden and got 2% and had to leave. But then they said that they needed a woman of color, so they put her on. And now she's popular somehow. Yeah, whatever, right? And then if, oh shit, I had a really good one about Trump that I was going to shit on him for, and I can't remember what it is now. My point is, if somebody talks shit about the person you like, no matter what they did or said, and you don't agree with it, you think the person on the news is lying. I found myself doing it the other day. I went into a gas station, and now I think what I'm saying is true, but Joe Biden was like, 19 million jobs. And he fucking drooled on himself. Like he's like the spit chick. Wasn't there a chick who like says you spit on a dude's junk before you give him a wank? He did that, but only on himself. Right? And he was talking about creating 19 million jobs. And I know that's true. What kind of jobs they are, whether they're government jobs, I don't know. But I also know that because of the scumbags that he's affiliated with, they locked the fucking world down and we lost 4 times that. So what, that would be like me that would be like me lighting a house on fire with 20 people in it and saving 3 kids and calling myself a fucking hero. Oh my God, what a horrible thought that was. But you see what I'm saying? Like, so I was listening to it like in this gas station. I didn't want to listen to it. And I was like, all right, he pissed me off because he's being disingenuous, but I can't lie and say he didn't create 19 million jobs or whatever. But as soon as he said, I'm like, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Do I even know how many jobs we lost during the pandemic? And apparently it is a lot. But my point is, I decided before that motherfucker opened his mouth, and I was like, wait, didn't they fire that idiot? Why is he up there? And then I hear Donald Trump with the same thing. It's like, guys, stop. Like, I'm not up to the news right now because I haven't been watching it, but like they say things, and I have Trump supporter friends who stick up for Trump even when he's fucking wrong. Even my friend on here, I think he took advice from the people, the experts. You're the fucking president of the United States. And then after we knew what a sham the whole thing was, look, somebody just said, how the fuck is Kamala and Trump our two? Well, first of all, I don't care for, look, the fact that she's not 100 is interesting, right? Because if you looked at Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, and it was like, you know what I mean? Are they fucking playing bingo in the fucking nursing home? But again, I don't even care because they're not even, Look, Donald Trump must be doing something to ruffle feathers of because I saw Michelle Obama put her arm around George W. Bush, during Trump's inauguration, and she put and the camera came up, and she said, "Yeah, W is my partner in crime." I was like, "Which crime were you part?" Because she said for 4 years or 8 years, Bush lied, people died. So my whole thing was Trump must be doing something. I'm not even saying right, but he's definitely doing something that the people who have had numbing agents on us for the past fucking 100 years are definitely pissed at the guy. But I want somebody to tell me what they learned this week, right? What matters is the policies, right? But now Quentin made this comment, right? What's up, Quentin? Quentin Salucci. So look again. I just actually said that I saw in a documentary that Obama did something with credit card companies that actually did people good, and I'm so cynical. They're looking for market share. And okay, so the extremism with global warming, and oh my God, there's no fuck. I mean, look, I'll give you a great example. There was a break in, somebody hacked the servers at the University of East Anglia in England. And there were letters between the top whatever P, like Oceanic and he was telling somebody to like fudge the numbers, a thumbnail on the hockey stick graph because he gets funding from the UN. So he got caught lying. And when he got caught lying, people like, they fucking hacked the fucking servers. What kind of crime? I'm like, okay, hang on. So they hacked Hillary's Wikipedia wiki. Okay, fine. It was an unsavory method of getting the information, but that doesn't make the information untrue. So they'd rather argue about the scumbags who broke into the servers and they don't care. Like I had a friend tell me that fucking Edward Snowden was a fucking anti-American criminal for telling our secrets. It's like he exposed that we're being lied to for 25 years. Edward Snowden's life, at least for now, is completely fucking ruined and has been since, I guess, 2009 because he couldn't handle the level of KGB style lies we're being told. Right? Somebody just said that, and I agree with what Quentin is saying, by the way, about policy. If a policy is a good policy, a policy is a good policy. And you guys have no idea what's going on in the comments right now. I'm getting the fucking Venezuelans, all their fucking scumbag criminals are here now because of the fucking Obama and robot. And then somebody else like fucking, they shot fucking Donald Trump. And then somebody else, Kamala Harris it's because you're all sexist and racist that she had 2%. I mean, I can't stand when she opens her mouth, but she's kind of hot. I mean, physically, she's kind of attractive. I mean, at least Willie Brown thought so, but no, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't dislike or like any of these people personally anymore. But my point is now what I want to get to, God almighty, I'm off on a tangent here. What can somebody tell me something they learned this week from watching? The only thing I know about in the news this week is about the school shooting. And I also learned just here in real time on the show that the same amount of people died in the ghetto in Chicago, but those are little brown people, so we don't fucking care. And that's disgusting. We need to care. I guess little blonde babies and kids, and I'm not saying it's not fucking tragic. I have little white, well, actually my kids aren't even white, but they're half white. Got a bunch of halfies. My point is, it's sensationalism. So I know about the school shooting and I know about and apparently the FBI knew about this guy. The police knew about this guy. So, by the way, I can't even read TMZ because I put TMZ on. I wanted to get some celebrity gossip to make this fun. And what do you know? The school shooting was the headline because TMZ knows what sells papers, right? Sells clicks. So, somebody just put a really good one. This is the best one. Amy of 1,000-Pound Sisters got arrested for having weed in her car or drugs with her children in the car. 1,000-Pound Sisters, guys, these sisters, one of them was 750, one of them was close to 5. They're both down. Clearly, one of them's off the rails with drugs. Those are my girls. I'm actually going to take a road trip with my daughter to meet Tammy Slayton. Is that it? Anyway, I love my 1,000-Pound Sister gals. But I want somebody to tell me, other than Amy Slayton being arrested for drugs, somebody tell me something that I could have known this week watching the news that would have made any difference to me and would have compelled me to do anything that would have made a difference to you. You're all in a cult when we open the news. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. I don't drink. Haven't drank in 31 years. I don't smoke cigarettes. I do drink coffee. I love coffee. I'm never quitting coffee. Never quitting coffee. So I'm pretty I'm a pretty abstinent dude. Ava Gardner said of Frank Sinatra, 109 pounds, 19 pounds was cock. And that's why he said, when I was 21, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for uptown girls who lived up the stairs with all that perfumed hair. And it came undone when I was 21. Was that for the 1,000-Pound Sisters, Bill Hulan? So I've given money to political campaigns, very little. I don't. What's up, cuz? My cousin Michael's in the house. So are we saying awesome to my Sinatra impersonation? Thanks, man. So I want somebody to tell me what they heard on the news that I didn't this week that would have made a difference to me if I heard it and would have made enough of a difference to compel me to do something that would make a difference to you. The answer is 0. I gave a couple of $100 to Ron Paul in 2008 because I thought he was an unslime. He's so. I'm going to tell you who I like in politics. The 3 most ineffective guys in politics. I love Ron Paul, not Rand. I love Ron Paul. I love Dennis Kucinich, who ran Kennedy's campaign. I love Ralph Nader, who's crazy. I mean, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he says, but then I listen to some stuff he says, and I'm like, I don't agree with what he says because my dad or my banker brother or some motherfucker told me not to believe that. Just like I thought fucking electric cars couldn't go fast. Frozen yogurt improves your heart health. That is important. But see, I know this because Sheila told me. Right? And I know what Ava Gardner said about Frank Sinatra and his 109 pound, his 19 pound cock. And you see what I mean? Like, and somebody just said that Kennedy joined Trump and got past that division is awesome. Now, the person who said that, I've heard him in the past say disparaging things about Trump. Didn't know much about Kennedy when he and I first talked about it. So I believe he's being sincere, not that he likes Kennedy or Trump necessarily, but the fact that they got past that divide. We're all Americans. And when you wake up on November 6th or 7th, I don't even know what day I didn't know what day it was. Oh, that's too clean. I just did a Sinatra. I just did like Frankie Valli doing Rod Stewart. I didn't know what day it was. That's more like it. Anyway, so you get my point. So I think the person's being sincere. But when you wake up after Election Day, fuck that fucking motherfucker won. I can't fucking, I'm leaving the fucking country. We're all in this. We're in this love together. We got the kind that lasts forever. We're all in this together. So if we become a lockdown totalitarian state, it's for all of us. Yeah, they'll gift their supporters a little bit longer, but eventually we're all fucked. Julius Caesar wrote the fucking Gallic Wars. What he did right, which is probably true, is that he was starting whispering campaigns between the Gaelic tribes, right? And he ended up being rescued. I mean, he did a clever thing. If you guys know about the Battle of Alesia, he chased Vercingetorix, who had been, he's, a Gaulian. He was a Gaelic warrior, which is France. He was part of the Roman army, and then he defected, and he got the tribes together. Caesar chases him into Alesia, his hometown, and built a wall, a 12-mile wall around the town. I think we've talked about this before. Yes, men think of the Roman Empire all day. And then when he realized other tribes may come to attack him, they built a wall around themselves, which was like 15 miles. So there was a 12-mile wall around the city of Alesia, and then a wall around the Romans. They snuck out. They put a hole in the wall and got out and were going to get reinforcements. They were saved by other Gaelic tribes. Julius Caesar divided the people of Gaul. He gave some of them money and bribed them. He told others, hey, so-and-so in this tribe said your mom wears army boots or whatever. You know what I mean? Said you're doing balls. I'm trying to get like Long Island expressions for more kids. You see what I'm saying? So he made them hate each other. He divided them. So anybody who's on here who has children, and there's a lot of you I can see, and you're okay with fucking war, you're a fucking idiot. I have an 11-year-old son. If he gets drafted, somebody's going to die before they deploy him, because I'm going to go out in a blaze of fucking glory. And I'm going to get, instead of a gun, I'm actually going to get like a Schecter guitar with the pointy headstock. No, maybe like an Ibanez and strap locks. I'm just going to be like, wow. But my point is, I don't want my son or daughter going to war for any reason. And if you do, now, if somebody attacks our country, yeah, you got to fight. But if you're okay with war and you have children, you may be fucking evil. If you think it's okay, if you don't believe in global warming, and I'm really suspicious of global warming, because every time global warming gets worse, my taxes or fees go up and the rich people make the fucking profit. It's a form of control. So if it's true at all, it's definitely an extreme version of it. But somebody just said it sounds like exactly what our current administration is doing. And I don't know that that's untrue. Like, my point isn't to get on board or against. Like, my point is we're all being lied to. And so if you don't believe in global warming, okay, but there legitimately was like a 10-mile fucking blob of plastic in the ocean. Nobody should want that. Electric cars are polluting because they're producing energy to charge the cars, but it's not all over our cities. It's being spewed. And I'm not worried about the ozone because I think they're full of shit. Our city roads would be cleaner. Our highways would be cleaner if more people were using electric technology. Does it need to be total lies? But see, they're dividing us, right? So I think everybody on this call wants clean water. I think we all want to be able to afford a home. I think we all agree that people should be able to eat in a country as rich as ours. I believe that whether you believe in universal income or not, or fucking reparations or not, or anything else, the money is better spent here than on wars in Ukraine, so arms manufacturers can get rich. So we all agree. I mean, I would imagine we could make a list. I would fucking say we should all start making a list of 1,000 things people can agree upon. And then the next day we can go back to fighting about guns, abortion, pronouns, and fucking global warming. That's what the news is. My friend, her exact quote was, but I need to read some news. I don't want to be one of those people ignorant about what's going on in Europe. They don't even know what's going on in Europe because they're being fucking lied to. Oh, I don't read the New York Times or Fox News or CNN. I listen to the BBC. The BBC. It's the fucking BBC. It's Britain's fucking TV station. National Public Radio. Well, we pay for it. Does that mean they serve our interests? Like seriously, somebody said they love the list idea. New species of warm water have moved into our northern waters. That zillion-mile load of plastic is not. Yeah, no. Who the fuck wants that plastic in our ocean? It's preposterous, right? So, but the list idea, like we really agree on so many things. You know, I got on the subway once in like 1997, and I was fucking pissed off. I had an argument with Francis Dunnery, who you all see on here. Francis is 6'5". He's a maniac. He's super smart. Best guitar player. I mean, according to Eric Clapton, Francis Dunnery was a significant addition to the guy's and he's charismatic and all that stuff. And I got into an argument with him, and I was pissed because I felt like I was right. And I'm on the fucking subway. And I leaned back on the pole, and I feel, and I turned around. This woman about this tall says, "Watch where you're leaning." And I looked at her and I said, "Are you fucking nuts?" Like, I mean, I was like thinking, "Are you crazy? I could kill you, lady." And she said, "You're having a bad day, aren't you?" And I was like, "Oh man, I'm having such a bad day. I'm sorry." Right? And she kind of shook her head like she appreciated that I acknowledged that she nailed it. And I was just I got punched because I was having a bad day. Had little to do with her. And then I see this young gangster kid with his fucking crack sticking out of his ass, and he had his dreads. And he was sitting there kind of with his like elbows inside his legs, and he's just doing like a typical teenager from the 90s punk ass looking thing, in my judgment. And I looked at him, and this old lady got on the train, and I was already annoyed with this kid because even knowing that I was having a bad day, I still wanted to blame somebody for something. And this kid stood up and he said, "Ma'am, would you take my seat, please?" And the woman said, "Thank you," and sat down. And I was like, "Eric, you're such a fucking asshole." But in the moment that woman got me to take responsibility for my life, I started to see what I was concentrating on. So I was concentrating on the argument with my friend. Now I want to beat the shit out of somebody, and I almost had my opportunity in a fucking 45-year-old short lady. Like, she looked like a bag lady. And she ended up being my savior that day because I was going to go down into the pit of hell. So if we get on the news every day and we concentrate on what they're doing and what they're doing, we as people can actually come up with solutions. We don't even have discussions anymore. I've seen people who grew up next to each other fight about Trump and Hillary Clinton and then unfriend each other. These guys were in their 50s and they went to the same synagogue. They got us by the short ones. If I'm going to unfriend people I've known my whole, one of my friends said something about gun ownership. And I said, "B, don't worry. When they come to get you, you can hide behind me and my brothers. We'll be armed." And my point is, no matter what you think and no matter what bullshit on the spectrum you're buying, we're in this love together. We are going to survive or not as a people. And you remember that? United we stand, divided we fall. I mean, it's the oldest societal lesson in history is united we stand, divided we fall. The people in Washington don't have our best interest at heart. Some of them may. And yeah, I'm sure some are better than others. Some girls are bigger than others. Some girls' mothers are bigger than other girls. Little fucking Smiths, everybody. You get what I'm saying? So, and the reason I say stop watching the news, nobody has told me. Everybody's laughed. I've heard some clever comments. And Sheila is the only one who told me something that I should have known. And I should have known that Amy Slater had gotten arrested, but I actually did know. You know why? Because Sheila told me last night. If it's important, you're going to find out. So before I was talking about being clean, I'm going to wrap it up because I know we started late and stuff. But I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't look at porn. Anyway, how do you do that? Anyway, my point is I don't have a lot of addictions. And I don't eat sugar a lot, and I would say I'm food abstinent because I used to eat what I mean, sometimes I still eat what I want, but you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty low on vice compared to a lot of people. I got upset. So I'm working a real estate job now in addition to my music work and my video stuff and everything else. And now I actually have to be somewhere when somebody asks me to. I'm like a spoiled child. That's been very few points in my life where I've had to do that. And it hurts my pride a little bit. But I have to do what I have to do right now. I have goals. It's not like a bad thing. It's an awesome thing that I can do this and make money. But something upset me because somebody was disappointed in me because I can't work this weekend because I have my daughter with me and my son. And as soon as they upset me, I didn't want to eat anything. I was done drinking coffee for the day. I fucking reached for my phone and almost hit one of my favorite news aggregates. I was like, what the fuck? And I realized it's a fucking, on top of it being a cult, it's an addiction. We used to come home and watch the 7:00 news. And if you were up late and you were waiting for the honeymooners and Burns and Allen, you'd watch the 11:00 news. Now we read the fuck, guys. My screen time, holy shit. Springtime was always my favorite time of year. My screen time is down 80% since I stopped watching the news, reading the news. 80%. 80%. The news is a cult. We deserve better than their lies and their bullshit. I promise you, if you try to go on a 3-day news fast, nothing bad's going to happen because you're off the news. If something bad does happen while you're off the news, you probably weren't going to change it anyway. And if it's bad enough where you have to take action, everyone you know will call you and say, can you believe this? And you'll say, believe what? And they'll say this. And you'll be like, wow, it's kind of like reading the news. Guys, I'm telling you right now, I was thinking that I was going to do it until like right before the election. I'm not going to say I don't have ideas on what I'd like to see happen in this election, but people are going to wake up on different sides of this. And I'm telling you right now, Michelle Obama with her arm around George W. Bush. And I think that means they're a little bit against Trump, but whatever. But then Trump gets the vaccine done, whatever. I know he got bad advice. But my point is, these motherfuckers aren't in Washington worrying about you. They're in Washington worrying about them. We have to worry about us. So, and I see different people of different political stripes on here right now. I love you all. I just want to tell you guys one thing. I keep thinking that I'm going to do this show pre-recorded and then be on here with you on the comments so I can comment with you. I don't love the idea. The reason I want to do it is because I have 2 people who want to come on as hosts and have a bunch of guests who want to come on. And everybody's schedule is hectic. So if I pre-record it, like I can pre-record it and play some of it and be on with you guys, but no, I love you guys too much. I like being here in the energy with you. Should I eat a carrot cake? Like a fucking 10-pound carrot cake from Lloyd's? I'm going to interview Lloyd's carrot cake either next week or the week after. Guy named Brandon Adams, the son of the founder of Lloyd's carrot cake. And he gives us these cakes and they're like really heavy. I don't know, 8,000 calories. I'm thinking about it. We'll see. Bill, Quentin, Michael, fucking Sheila, Tom, Oh, why can't I go back and see everybody who commented? Why is that not working? Tom Galvin, Cindy, Flugmacher, Richie. Who else? It's taking too long to scroll back. Thank you all for being on the show with me. Love y'all. And yeah, I'm going to start writing a list. I want to see how many things I can come up with by next week that we should, that we all agree on, just obvious things. Like nobody's like, hey, fucking poison water, fucking awesome. Nobody. So there's a lot of people still on here. I hate signing off like this, but I have to do my Duolingo. Vero. What is it? Oh, you know what, guys? I study my Duolingo and then I go to use it and I can't do shit in Italian. Peace out.